वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनौ वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनौ देवकी परमानन्दो देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरु कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं दैवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. I place my humble salutations upon the lotus feet of Saint Vedavyasa, by whose grace today we are able to enjoy the essence of the Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Srimad Bhagavata. In the previous session, we had talked about how rebirth is an essential part of explaining the cycle of life. So Krishna continues advising, because now he has established that rebirth is inevitable. That also means death is inevitable. Jatasya maranam dhruvam. Death is a consequence of being born, is what that shloka, that phrase says. So it is very important to understand that various versions of texts are available, which are subject to misinterpretation because of the large amount of time that has been given. We shall be talking about one very important misinterpretation of history at the end of the video, but let us not dwell into it now. Let us look at what Sri Krishna says. He says, "Na sato vidyate bhavaha, na bhavo vidyate satah, ubhayorapi drishtontah, tvanayostattvadarshibhi. Na asato vidyate bhavaha, na bhavo vidyate satah." Sata means eternal. So one which is present all the time, na abhavo vidyate. It does not stop existing. This may seem like a very obvious statement. One which does not have any end will continue to remain existent. It does not have any cessation. In a similar manner, na sato vidyate bhavaha, na asato vidyate bhavaha. There is no guarantee for asata, means temporary. Vidyate bhavaha. Bhavaha means permanence. There is no permanence of a temporary product. So why is this very important? Because various saints and sages have given us a lot of texts. Some people, a category of people, have somewhere taken the phrase Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. We have talked about this phrase a lot, but there is a technical problem with the phrase. I had to bring this phrase up in my previous videos a lot of time, but now I wanted to refer to those just to show that what might seem obvious might not really be true. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya means God alone is true, all the others are lies. Sri Krishna does not say Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. He says Nasato Vidyate Bhavaha, Na Bhavo Vidyate Sataha. It means all the products you see are temporary, but the Maya with which it is built is permanent. Lot of scientists have found this shloka very interesting, especially The likes of Goldstein, Schrodinger, they have found the shloka very interesting. Heisenberg, Nasato vidyate bhavaha na bhavo vidyate sataha. Your body is temporary, your soul is permanent. Your your products are temporary, but the energy with which they are built, that is the Maya, is permanent. Just like how if you recharge a battery and then discharge it, now the battery is now it's called dead. The energy has been taken out. The energy that was present in the battery was temporary. Now the energy has changed form and gone into some other form. So the battery is now no longer relevant. That is temporary, it is thrown away. It is changed into another form, it is recycled. But that energy, the power that has come from it, that is now changing forms, be it lighting a bulb or operating a fan. It has been converted to another form of energy and now it is serving another temporary product. So this particular energy continues to exist all the time but in different forms. But this product that was used to house the energy, that is thrown away, it is recycled. What does this mean? The soul that is present inside the body is the energy analogy here, and the body is the powerhouse. Taittiriya Upanishad says, So kamayatam bahusyam praja ye yeti satapotapyatam satapastaptvam idagum sarvamasrujatam yadidam kincham satchatyaccha bhavatam niruktancha niruktancha nilayanancha nilayanancha vijnanancha avijnanancha satyancha satyam abhavat. There are two types of products. One whose state keeps switching between true and false, which means something like our body. Before birth, we were at false. Our body did not have any conscious. After birth, our body has conscious. When the particular individual dies, the body is again temporary. It is gone. It is of no power. But the soul has undergone a transformation. It has taken up a new body, or it has gone into some other free space. Like how if you take something which has energy and break it, then they say that energy goes into free space. It is dissipated in the form of light and sound, and then it goes into free space. For example, when you take two stones and hit them against each other, the energy produced gives you a spark, and after that the spark is lost as light and then into free space. That is moksha. The soul is lost into free space. If it assumes another body, it is rebirth. It is another janma. Very simple to understand. But how are we different from the Paramatman? That is where the pictures on the screen uh, come into relevance. The mountain is the Paramatman, and the stone from the mountain is the Atman. The stone possesses characteristics of the mountain, like it is also rock. The mountain is also rock. Whatever minerals the mountain had, the stone also possesses. But what does the mountain possess that the stone does not possess? Size, permanence. This stone keeps changing hands. And then whenever the stone goes back into the mountain, nobody calls it a stone anymore. It is a part of the mountain. So even our Atman, which is separated from the Paramatman, takes various forms and then finally goes back inside the Paramatman when we attain Mukti. Why is Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya faulty? Mithya means not true, false. Asata means temporary. Whatever is temporary need not be false. That is what is most important to understand. Because it is temporary does not mean it has never existed. It is existing for a particular amount of time. And in that particular amount of time, it has relevance. The most classic example given is legends. Jivan Muktas like Sri Adi Shankara continued to consume ahara and they continued to write books despite getting knowledge. Gautama Buddha continued to spread his jnana, he continued to consume ahara, he continued to undergo the sleep cycle even when he was enlightened. So, if all these worldly things were mithya, were untrue, these Jivan Muktas, these jnanis would not have followed it, correct? Whenever a jnani, a sannyasi, attains Divya Jnana, even then they continue to use the worldly products. So, if the worldly products are not true, they should tyaja them, they should avoid them, or they should renounce them. But they are not doing that. They are using the worldly products, and great saints like Sri Adi Sankara have used manuscripts to write down their shlokas. So, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya does not hold relevance. Na asato vidyate bhavaha, na bhavo vidyate sataha makes sense. You are a student of class 11. For you, class 7 textbook right now is asata. It is not needed. But when you were in class 7, that book was permanent for you. That book was required for you. So, what is changing is the situation. And that's why the relevance of the object changes. That does not make it a lie. So, after 7th standard, when you go to 8th and no longer need the 7th standard textbook, can you say that the 7th standard textbook was actually a lie? I never used it. No, we did use it for the particular period of time. After that, it changes hands and it's relevant for someone else now, not us. Our perspective, frame of reference changes, but not the existence of the product. So the Maya is Sata, the objects are Asata, the powerhouses are Asata, the power is Sata, Paramatman is Sata, the Atman is Sata Anuvibhagaha, means present in a minor form. Again, the Upanishad says, the question is asked, where is the soul? You tell us that the soul is there, where is the soul? The soul is present in the Atman, in the Hridaya. Hridi Bhavati, it is present in the Hridaya. So again the question is raised, because Upanishad is a set of questions and answers. Whatever we would have got, they would have got and addressed to the Paramatman, Paramatman would have answered. That is how Upanishads work. So, okay, you say it's present in the heart. How is it controlling the rest of the body then? How is it giving you consciousness? So the Upanishad also answers, whenever you apply sandalwood to your head, it cools your entire body. It does not cool only the head. If you apply it on the head, the entire body gets cooled. How is that? Okay. Whenever a flower has fragrance, the entire plant gets the fragrance. Not just the flower. The entire garden is fragrant. That means it is spreading through some medium. That is the same way the Atman also operates from the heart, but it is able to control everything. It is pervasive. It is pervasive over the body, but it does not mean it's present at all parts of the body. It is able to control all the parts. So it's very important to understand. Any doubts in this particular concept can be addressed in the comments. I will take up the questions again in the next session. This is a very important philosophical point to understand, that the powerhouse, the body is temporary, but the soul is permanent. So therefore he says, Avinashitu tadvidhi yena sarvamidam tatam vinashamavyayasyasya na kinchit kartumarhasi antavanta ime deha nityasyokta sharirinaha anashino prameyasya tasmadyudhyasva bharata avinashi tu tadvidhi yena sarvamidam tatam. As said, the soul rests in the heart, but it is pervasive over the entire body. But it is avinasha. It is impossible to destroy the soul. It is possible to destroy the body. An example, you take a battery again, classic example. Battery contains power. Battery contains power. You take a hammer and smash the battery, you will see fire coming out or sparks coming out. The energy converts from whatever is present inside as chemical energy to sparks and spreads. You have not destroyed the spark, you have destroyed the battery. The same way, you cannot destroy the soul, you can only destroy the physical body. Avinashitu tadvidhi yena sarvam idam tatam. Vinasham avyayasya na kinchit kartum arhasi. Oh Arjuna, your doubt amuses me. Vinasham avyayasya. If a product is unable to be destroyed, it is impossible to destroy a product. Na kinchit kartum arhasi. Whatever you do, you cannot destroy it. You cannot destroy it. So whatever you do, you cannot destroy the soul, Arjuna. You can only destroy the body. You can only harm the body. You cannot harm the soul. So if some people have the doubt of, doesn't hurting the body also cause pain? You take a pin and poke yourself. Aren't you causing pain to the body? Aren't you reacting? The point is, if you don't have consciousness in that part, no pain will be felt. Some people are paralyzed below the waist. That means the consciousness is not there for the part below the waist. For them, if you pour hot steaming oil on the body also, they won't feel anything. Then how is it that you say that the body is feeling the pain? Your conscience is feeling the pain, not the body. When you are given anesthesia, the consciousness, the nerves for that particular part is disabled. The pervasiveness of the consciousness over that part is disabled. You are not able to feel the pain. So is it your body that is giving you the pain? It is your consciousness, it is your soul which is making you aware of there is something called pain. Very interesting conversation happens between Yudhishthira and Yaksha. Yudhishthira is asked by Yaksha, why has Paramatman given us pain, the sense of pain? Very interesting answer is present. The answer is, we may walk over thorns. If we don't know that the thorn will cause us pain, we end up damaging the body in a very massive way. For example, imagine you step on a thorn, big thorn. It enters your body, you pluck it out. Now blood starts to rush out. If you don't feel any pain, you won't stop the blood. The blood will keep going. At a point of time, your body will become devoid of blood and you will die. This pain is very, very important. You are touching something very hot. The fire gets onto you. If you don't feel the pain of the fire, you will allow the fire to stay on you, and the fire will burn you entirely. It will destroy your body. So that's why Paramatman has given you consciousness to identify that this is pain. The body identifies pain, and what do we do? In science, we call it stimulus. As soon as we touch something hot, we remove our hand immediately. Who does this? Consciousness is the reason for this. If you take a patient in coma and keep his hand over a hot mug even for 10 hours, he will not react. So again, the question is it the body which is showing you pain, or is it consciousness? The body is getting destroyed, no doubt about it. If you take the hand of a coma patient and keep it over a fire always, the hand will have burns, but he will not feel any pain at all. The pain is not there because the consciousness is not there. If the consciousness was there, the pain would have been there definitely. Antavanta ime dehaha nityasyoktaha sharirinaha anashinaha aprameyasya tasmat yudhyasva bharata. Antavanta ime dehaha. Only this body, O Arjuna, can be destroyed. Anashinaha aprameyasya. The soul cannot be destroyed at all. Tasmad yudhyasva bharata. So whatever you are looking at now as relations, you say Acharyan, Matulan, Bhratriyan, right? All these are sources of energy which are sided with the adharmic side. They are negative power, and your kartavya is to destroy the negative power. You have to look at them as power and houses of power, not as your relations, because they are all asat, temporary. But their souls are permanent. They will take another form. Bhishma Pitamaha might die and his soul might take the form of your son. It may take the form of your grandson. Nobody knows. But what is true is they have sided with adharma. The question is this: we all respect fire or animals. Correct? We all respect animals. So a particular animal, what it is doing is destroying your business. For example, you are working in a call center. A dog is coming and licking your keyboard. Whenever water enters the keyboard is gone. So immediately what do? You drive the dog away. At that point, do you sit and think, oh, it's a dog. It's also an organism. Should we harm it or not? At that point, it is a negative energy which is ruining your work. You drive it away. That's all. There is a fire. We all worship fire. Agni is given the greatest respect in our Sanatana Dharma. But an Agni is burning your house. Will you sit and say, oh, Agni is consuming my house. Let me stand and watch. Immediately what you'll do, you'll take water and douse it. You will fight the negative that is happening. The same way Arjuna, Drona and Bhishma and Karna and Duryodhana, everyone is siding with the wrong side. They have gone to the wrong side. They are negative energies. They are destroying your family. They are destroying the whole Hastinapura. They are destroying Indraprastha. That's why you should fight them. Tasmat Yudhyasva Bharata. That's why you should participate in this war. And to answer your question of I am fighting my uncles, my gurus, aren't they revered? Yes, they are revered, but Vedas say Sthana Brashtana Shobhante. Whenever they go away from that position, O Arjuna, they lose the value. In the Ramayana, Kaikeyi is the mother of all the four people. Motherly position. But she is biased towards one son and partial towards the other son. Drives one son away into the forest. Bharata comes and scolds her. So the question remains in the Valmiki Ramayana whether it was justified for Bharata to scold his own mother when Rama, being a great son, followed his father's orders. The Valmiki says the answer is yes, it is justified. Because now she is not in the Mata position. Because Adi Shankara says, Sakridapi Kumata na bhavati, there are no bad mothers in this world. If a mother is acting in a wrong way, she is wishing for bad to happen to her son, Mata na bhavati. She is not a mother anymore. She does not have to be given the position of a mother anymore. Sakridapi Kumata na bhavati. There is no Kumata in this world. There is no bad mother. Because if she wishes bad, immediately she is dismissed from the position of mother. There's a judge. The role of the judge is to judge properly. When he becomes partial, you remove him from the job. When you have removed him from the job, is he given the same respect as the judge? He is not a judge anymore. Sthana Brashtana Shobhante. The following verse is very beautiful. Nakha Kesha Naraha. Nails, when present on the hand, looks very beautiful. We adore them. But when you cut it and throw it, it is not there in the sthana where it has to be. What do? You sweep it and throw it away. Hair. Everyone admires hair. We say Sita is Ekaveni Dhara, Keshava for Krishna because he has curly hair. We admire the hair, but when the hair falls from the head and falls on the ground, now nobody says, wow, curly hair on the ground. No. You sweep it and throw it away. Nakhaha, Keshaha, be it hair, be it nail, be it man. If they are not present in the proper sthana which they have taken up, sthana bhrashta na shobhante. They need not be given the respect. So that's why you have to Look at them as energy and storage of energy and fight them, Arjuna, not as relations. We have dwelled a lot in these shlokas itself. So let me not dwell into one more shloka. We will look at this shloka in the next session. It will take up some time to explore this shloka. So for this session, I end with the note that soul is permanent, body is temporary. Whenever someone goes into the adharmic side, they become negative sources of energy, negative houses of energy, and they have to be destroyed. We are just storage of energies, be it positive way or negative way. We are all containers. The energy remains permanent. It gets into rebirth, is born again. So Shri Krishna says, do not worry about the relations, Arjuna. They are no more in the sthana that you have provided them. Your grandfather is fighting against you, is no more, no, he is not your grandfather anymore. Your guru is fighting against you, he has lost the position of the guru. Your cousins are not giving you equal share. They are telling, no, won't even give him 5 villages. They have lost the position of cousin. Your fatherly Dhritarashtra is differentiating between his own sons and Pandu's sons. Mamakaha Pandavaha, he says. What are my people and those Pandavas doing? He has lost the position of a father. They no longer command respect. You just have to look at them as negative sources of energy and destroy them. As a Kshatriya, because that's your dharma. And because you should follow your dharma, you should fight this war. With that note, I conclude my session for today. Let us explore this shloka in the next session. Govindeti sada dhyanam, Govindeti sada japam, Govindeti sada dhyanam, Sada Govinda kirtanam. Swastif prajabhyah paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः सज्जनाः सन्तु निर्भयाः अपुत्राः पुत्रिणः सन्तु पौत्रिणः अधनाः सधनाः सन्तु जीवन्तु शरदां शतम् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम्।